Hey all, welcome to Tuesday with Pastor Dan. We're going to be continuing on with Lent in Plain Sight by Jill Duffold, like we did for our Tuesday book studies that we used to do. And again, it's plain sight. So remember last week was dust, in light of Ash Wednesday, and as we continue on, this week is bread. And we just had communion. We just did communion on Sunday. And it just has got me thinking a lot about bread, about feeding people, about hunger, about necessities that we need, and the hands in which prepare it. Our bread, if you don't know, Marty Koch bakes, and he does a great job. The bread's fantastic, and I think you could ask Marty. I might be putting words into his mouth in some way, but there's something that happens in baking the bread. It's not just baking the bread, it's baking the communion loaf. The simple loaf, it's just bread. But it's so much more than that. And I think if you asked him, the act of that, the act of feeding, the act of making this loaf to be used in a sacred way, but beyond that, the nourishing that happens, right? It goes from making a loaf of bread that we butter and eat at Texas Roadhouse or wherever, to that loaf does such spiritual nourishment. And it's a simple thing. It's a simple thing to feed and nourish people. I have found that it's something I myself might say that Marty does too. I love to do. I love to feed people. I love to get on the food trains, or when we have people in the church who just need a meal, or neighbors when they've had surgeries and stuff, make some extra food or make food specifically for that. Now, let me be honest, I enjoy it a little bit more when the weather's clearer, because making chili is all well and good, but there's something incredibly powerful about feeding someone who needs it. But when it's something like taking the time to make pulled pork, or taking the time to make ribs that have it's not a 10-minute window, but it is a long process of getting the meat ready, getting the trimming it, and then rubbing it, and maybe you brine it. I don't know. Maybe you do. I don't brine mine. Injecting it if you do that, and then on the smoker, and then checking it, making sure the temperature's right, and then doing the next thing, wrapping it, and a little more seasoning, and then setting it back on there for more time, and letting it come to the right temperature. All of that work to feed someone, but it's never work because it's such a process of nourishing someone. God nourishes us in that same way, with simple gifts every single day. And we often miss them. We miss the nourishment. We, like the Israelites in the wilderness, miss the manna. We get tired of it because it's there every single day, so we stop being grateful for the nourishment, or we don't even see it as nourishment, because in some ways of our privilege or our good fortune, we say, oh, what luck we have, instead of saying, what a blessing, manna from heaven, bread from heaven. I'm being nourished. To recognize everything as a gift and grace and love, and then respond with gratitude. It's incredible to provide food for someone, to nourish them, because we meet their need, and when we do that, we can lift them up. The food boxes we do here at church, the other things, it's like Marty has said before, making that bread is a wonderful act that he thoroughly enjoys. Now he'll try to play it off like it's not that big a deal, but he loves it. He loves feeding the people. He loves sharing his gifts. He loves nourishing us, taking and making the opportunity for a sacred loaf that we can break and share together. That is simple but profound. If we start to recognize the simple things as manna, bread from heaven, being nourished by God, then it spreads inside of us and we become the creation who nourishes all those around us. And it is such a profound thing to do, to nourish others, to provide for others. May you all be blessed every single day by manna, bread from heaven. See it, accept it with gratitude and thanksgiving, and share it with all those you experience. May you all have a blessed Lent. Look forward to seeing you maybe tomorrow or Sunday. Have a great week.